So after a little bit over an hour passes, Jeremy popped into the tent and woke me up.
How'd that nap treat you?
Good, I just need to get more of it.
More of it?
I ate, so that'll help too. I got to start a new day with a fresh cup of coffee that got spilt all over me and all over the ground. So that was not the best way to start the day, unfortunately. But the sleep definitely helped a bunch. The only downside was, I left the aid station a bit groggy and woke up by the time I was midway up this next climb. And I think this is exactly when I started having a lot of negative thoughts.
See you in a couple hours. 7K.
Thank you for everything.
Yes, sir.
The absolute lowest moment I think I had. So I was coming into the 4th life base of the race, 200 kilometers in, and at this point I was having a really difficult time stretching, getting my leg to stretch out, to run downhill. It was causing me to roll my ankle. I got stuck with this 7-mile descent in which I walked almost every last bit of it. And I had high expectations of myself, that I would definitely be running all the downhills of the race. I mean, that's how I was gonna compete, was power hike as hard as I could on all the big climbs and run all the downhills. And now I can't run the downhills, so I'm walking everything. So that was mentally extremely frustrating. And this is kind of when I came to the realization that the goals I had previously to starting the race are no longer feasible. It's not gonna happen. I either have to reset my goals or I have to reset my state of mind on how I'm going to approach this race. And thanks to my girlfriend Sabrina, she helped a lot with that. I came into the aid station and I was really negative and down and frustrated at the fact that I wasn't doing what I was capable of. Am I taking this with me or are you guys gonna charge it? Okay.
And keeping up on that 20 minutes to half hour. Don't forget you have sunglasses now. Use them. Thank you.
Thank you for the coffee. I left there in a much better mood, and I instantly, going up the climb, I just kept telling myself positive thoughts, and it's a Tuesday afternoon and I'm in the Italian Alps running up and down mountains. Like, this is kind of a dream. And there was still a relatively decent amount of race left, although I wasn't gonna podium like I thought I was going to, and I sure as hell wasn't gonna reach a 72 hour time goal. But I could still push for the best time possible. The transition period from basically me being a competitor to me just simply becoming a finisher. And it was me realizing that, unfortunately I had to kind of toss away my ego and, do something that I think is actually harder than competing, because it's extremely difficult to watch people pass you that any other day of the week you're faster than, any other day of the week you're stronger than. At the end of the day, it's 200 miles through the Italian Alps. It's an extremely, extremely difficult race, and it's such an awesome accomplishment no matter where you finish. In the grand scheme of things, it took 20 to 30 miles to get over it. Man, I've learned a lot of lessons from the tour. For some reason, and I'm not sure why, I went into tour with a slightly different mindset. I'd kind of convinced myself that I was gonna do a certain way, and that's how it was gonna go. Whereas in previous races, I don't allow myself to do that. I do all the training that I can for the race, but I let what happens happen naturally. Like, I kind of had myself convinced that all these unforeseen things wouldn't happen, and I was no matter what, I was gonna be able to face those challenges. There was a piece of me that was missing this race that is kind of it's hard to put in words. Like, I don't know what happened. And a lot of it was a mental edge. There was a mental competitive edge that was just not there. It was a missing puzzle piece. And I still don't know why it wasn't there. Like, I have no idea. By the time I got to Champollion, I was no longer competing, or most definitely was no longer going to be in the running for a top 3 spot. And at this point I decided, it would be best to just consistently move forward, and we had a big climb ahead to Val Toursanche, so I decided to go ahead and team up with another American runner, Luke Nelson, and it made knocking out the climb a little bit easier, having somebody to knock it out with. Capers on here. Thank you.
Yeah.
Those are the sweet of you. You're so awesome.
You're done with these then?
Till tomorrow. Those were phenomenal. Thank you. Dude, the last aid station, I asked the lady for some meat in my sandwich. Yeah. She goes to the back and comes back with this was full. All the way up. It barely fit in my short. Coming into Val Toursanche, I felt re-energized. I was happy with where I was, and probably one of the very few times that I finally figured out that I was, it is what it is, and this was the hand I was dealt, and just did whatever I could do at this point just to keep moving forward. Yeah. There's some major differences in some of this course. There's some where it's extremely steep and technical and dangerous as fuck. Like, dangerous as fuck. And then there's parts like this last one, it was kind of smooth and buffed out so I could actually run. But like, once it gets super steep and technical, I gotta walk. I'm ready to do a sleep. I decided it would be a good idea to get a meal in me and then catch a quick sleep break. I was, at this point in the race, it was really wearing down on me, and I started to think I really needed to up the amount of time I was sleeping, so I had my crew set an alarm for 55 minutes, and I passed out in a gym that was full of what looked like hundreds and hundreds of cots. Let's just meet halfway at 55, and I just will wake up at that time. Waking up's the worst. It's the worst.
You look great.
I usually see people who wake me up.
Each night, you're gonna deal with sleep deprivation. I mean, as soon as the sun drops, there's like this initial hit of, oh God, I'm tired. I've been up for 2 days. I've been up for 3 days. I've been up for 4 days. And you kind of break through the wall through the first, 30 minutes to 60 minutes of the night. And then it comes again 2 hours later, and then it comes again 4 hours later. And it's kind of like this constant battle of, really I was tired, and everyone is tired, and really the only difference between one person and the next is who decides that they're just gonna fight it and kind of ignore it. and who has an ability to ignore it better than the next person. And that was definitely a struggle of mine.
Enjoy the cool weather, man.
I will. Thank you.